Yo, what's going on, y'all? Goofy Rexy here, and hope everybody is doing well. And let me first start off by saying happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Appreciate you guys very, very, very much. And in the season of being grateful and thankful, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the things that my favorite things, the things that I'm most thankful for in Marvel Strike Force for this year. Now, this list is going to be subjective. So there's going to be a couple of things that obviously I may not share, that I may not like or remember from this past year. But these are going to be things that I personally enjoy and I'm very grateful for. But for whatever it is that you are grateful for, I want y'all to leave it in the comments because I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say there as well. But let's get into the first thing. The first thing that I want to talk about is it's going to be one of the characters that we got this year in Marvel Strike Force. Now, I know that he's kind of in a weird spot right now, because maybe he's not as good as he used to be because of the Kestrel release and all that. But on my 2021 wish list for Marvel Strike Force, I put one of my top characters that I wanted was going to be Silver Surfer. And this is I was so happy when I found out that Silver Surfer was going to get released into the game. His release method was a little weird, not probably the best. He's still currently right now in the raid milestones, but one of the things that I was incredibly grateful for was that Nora Rad came into Marvel Strike Force, man, and when he was announced, I was over the moon. I was so excited to be able to get him, and you know, he's not disappointed. Obviously, I think the game has kind of shifted a little bit. Now we got Icarus and Cersei. Maybe we're not sure about where he lands in the meta anymore, but this is one of the characters that I'm definitely grateful for and thankful for as well, along with a couple other characters that I was really thankful and grateful for entirely was the XMen team, man. And you guys know me already. Confession. If you release any mutant characters, any X-Men characters into Marvel Strike Force, Goofy usually has to consult with my wife, and he has to consult with his wife and talk to her about how he's going to spend money. I usually play a very budgeted game, try to only spend about $100 a month. Well, $82 actually, because the Amazon coins save money up to close up to 20% here with Amazon coins. So check out the link down below, guys. It's a way for you to save some money here on your Marvel Strike Force and mobile in-game purchases. But I usually try to be very budgeted. But when it comes to mutant characters, man, and X-Men characters, it's kind of hard for your boy to hold back, because it's just so nostalgic for me. When I found out that Jubilee was coming, and Bishop, then Iceman, then Kitty Pryde, I was like, oh my god, I just got to go crazy, man. I went dumb hard on this team, man. Probably the most money I've ever spent in 1 month in the game. I won't tell you exactly what that price was, but I was just over the moon and over top. So I was actually really excited with Astonishing X-Men, and they're still so good. They're great. They're a dynamic freaking team in Marvel Strike Force. They're good in raids. They're good in war. One of the most versatile teams in the game. Jubilee's a character you can use in Dark Dimension. Now, wasn't excited that she was necessarily the legendary that was being introduced into the game, but either way, I was very happy to have this team and very happy to have characters like Bishop come to the game, because freaking nostalgia, man. But another thing that really, for me, when it comes to raids, that I thought was really good was the introduction here of this auto basic button. And this was something that we have been asking for forever and a day, man, was can we freaking get an auto basic button? Because if you use teams like the symbiotes, the X-Men, after a while, you just kind of hit basics and save your cooldown so that you could go into this next matchups here. And being able to have the auto basic button was a lifetime. It's a saver. It's a lifesaver for me. And I really loved and enjoyed that they were actually able to implement this into the game. We saw it in the data mines a little bit. We thought it might be a thing that was coming. And then when it was actually confirmed, we were like, all right, yo, we are good to go now. Auto basic, especially with the symbiotes, man. It takes a while having to click all the buttons in war. Sometimes I get to use auto basic, man. For people who are lazy, like myself, I really like being able to have an auto basic button, save my cooldowns, but still be able to finish the matchups here. This is definitely something that I'm pretty excited about as well. Along with some of the new settings that they have as well was this download all assets on Wi-Fi. Bro, I used to have to wait like minutes just for a team to load after they do a freaking patch, dude. But being able to have this automatically click on this button, have them download all the assets. You know, it's like you're trying to cycle through usually the trick was you're going to cycle through Blitz. right? You're cycling through Blitz, and then you're letting it load so that you can kind of do a thing, and so that you can download the new assets for the characters. No, don't have to do that anymore. Now when you click on, because when you have this button clicked off, well, after a patch, you jump into the game automatically. It downloads all the assets. It kind of alleviates a lot of the long loading time that you have to go into your arena matches, to go into your raid matches, where you're trying to download all those new character assets. So this is actually another one, and I'm actually really grateful for as well. Now, another thing that I'm pretty excited about, we're kind of jumping around a little bit here, but another thing I was actually pretty thankful, this is very recent, is some of the changes that they made to the gear tier 15s and gear tier 14s. I think after, we know that Dark Dimension 5 was going to be released, and of course, congratulations to Dodano back for already completing Dark Dimension 5, but we were worried about, okay, well, what are they going to do with these G15s and these G14s? How are those going to become a little bit more accessible, more farmable? Well, they threw those into the Doom campaign. Now, largely this is easier attainable for end game players, but now being able to go into these Doom campaign nodes and being able to farm the psionic essence, the superior psionic essence, being able to farm and grab even some of the teal gear that's here now, right? So there's some of this augmented teal gear, like your basic catalyst, where you're gonna need like 5,000 of these for all the characters that you need for Dark Dimension 5. So yeah, just start farming these now, because you're gonna need them. And there's most likely gonna also be a teal gear orb that's gonna show up in the store, in the war store as well. So save some of your currency so that you can actually open up those teal gear orbs. But still, at the same time, man, I was actually pretty excited about them throwing some of this teal gear here, throwing some of these G15s, and allowing for those to be farmable, because I think that does help out some of the players who are just completing Dark Dimension 4, some completing Dark Dimension 3, looking to go into Dark Dimension 4. Having these pieces available to farm is good, because it saves them having to use that currency to farm to grab those pieces of gear in the war store. So I'm pretty damn happy and pretty damn excited about that where that's concerned. Not so excited about SSM being in 4.9, but we'll leave that. We're talking about a video where we're thankful for things, not a video where we are upset about some things. So we're gonna leave that there. Another thing that I was actually talking to chat about that they did like was the war changes. So right now, as you can see, we're getting completely shellacked in war right now. But some of the war changes that was made is now that you're able to get your attacks up front, right? So you're able to get your 4 attacks up front. You're able to get your 10 attacks in total pretty quickly throughout the war, allowing for war to go a little bit quicker. And for a lot of players, man, it's a time thing, right? Having to log back into the game multiple times throughout the freaking day to try to get your stuff done, it's a little taxing, man. So being able to go in, have your 4 attacks initially ready to go. If you want to buy 2 more attacks, you can get 6 attacks in fairly easily and get that done pretty quickly. Come back in, log in once more, finish up the rest of your war attacks here on your second login during the war period. I think is really helpful for a lot of players. Also being able to block some rooms, or at least not block, but put some rooms as a no tag. Hey, don't attack this room is another thing that players actually really like quite a bit. I would jump into war and talk about it right now, but you guys have seen it already, but we're in war, so I don't want to do it right now. That's actually one of the things that I think players are really excited about, and that I kind of got a notion of here in the chat as well. Another thing was gold increase. So there was a good amount of gold that was increased. There was an 8.1 million gold influx that was shown that was given into the game here. So first they made some changes. I was like 3.1 or 3 so million or so like that was introduced into the game. When some of it was in the daily objectives. They made some changes in some other areas, and then they finished it off by making it war. They increased the amount of gold that you're able to get in war. And then the second iteration of their implementation was making some changes to payday. So payday, they got now, before I think it was like 2.4 was what you were able to get, or was it like 1? It was like 2.4 or so that you were able to get through payday at tier 7. Now you're able to get 3.6 million, and then they also added a login calendar now, where you're able to get an additional, what is it, close to I think like 2 million, right? That you're able to get from the login calendar. So there's been a gold increase. Now the gold increase, probably still doesn't really feel all that good, right? Because you got to bring up all these new teams and characters to level 85. But it's the first time that I've ever seen them do a gold influx or gold increase like that before. So that I got to give credit where credit is due and say, I guess, man, they actually made some damn improvements where gold is concerned, and we're getting a lot more gold in the game now. I'm still doing my gold management, only spending my 1.2 to 1.5 million gold per day. So I'm usually largely okay with gold, but I will say that one of the things that I did like that they've done is that they've actually increased the amount of gold that they're giving in the game, and I think that that has been largely helpful. Another thing I want to talk about here, thing that I'm thankful for, is another one of these reworks that happened this year. I think probably one of the best reworks that happened in Marvel Strike Force this year, and it was the rework to Gamora and the rework to Nebula. And the reason why I like this rework is Gamora and Nebula were probably two of the worst characters in Marvel Strike Force. Let's just call it real. Nebula was probably the worst character in Marvel Strike Force. She might have been close to Aim Infector. Right? Like Aim Infector was really bad, and so was Nebula. Nebula might have been a little bit better because she could have revived, and that gave her a little bit of an upper hand. But Aim Infector can apply debuffs 10% of the time, maybe 5% of the time. So therefore, Aim Infector was probably a little bit worse than Nebula, but they were pretty much at the bottom of the freaking list, man, when it comes to Marvel Strike Force. But reworking them to being a part of the Infinity Watch team, top tier team in Marvel Strike Force, was pretty damn fun, pretty damn good. And also, I think what made it for me the best rework in the game is because it really helped out beginner players, because I think largely Nebula is fairly easy to get. She's in the Nexus campaign, Nexus 4-6. Gamora is in the Blitz store, so you can get her pretty easily as well. I think that for me, one of the things that I liked is that there were characters that were accessible to earlier players, and that for me I thought was a relatively good thing. Being able to rework characters like that weren't that good, making them more relevant. I think honestly that's probably one of the best ways to fix the power creep or power leap, as we want to call it, is to rework some of these older characters that are crap and make them good again, while of course you're introducing these newer characters that are coming to Marvel Strike Force as well. I think that's actually one of the best things and best ways that they can make some changes there when it comes to or make some adjustments when it comes to the power leap and the power creep in Marvel Strike Force. But there's many other things that I could talk about. There's the RTA changes that they made, where they've allowed for you now to contribute with doing blitzes to RTA. I thought that was a pretty damn good thing that they did as well. The green ISO changes, right? Now you can you're getting double the amount that you used to get before for farming and farming your green ISOs. I think that that's been a good thing. The Shang-Chi event, different than the Lady Dash Strike event, a little different than the Icarus event right now. I think the Shang-Chi event was actually a pretty damn good event as well, because you were able to get a good amount of shards for Shang-Chi as a free-to-play player, but you were also able to get a lot of much-needed resources as well. The costume, we were able to get a lot of stuff for the Shang-Chi event. Probably one of their best events for this year, except for the one that they did for the anniversary. That anniversary event was pretty good too. We got a lot of really good resources where that is concerned. But I'm going to stop here. There's a lot of stuff that we could go into. The Milestone 2 orb was helpful for earlier players also. Not SSM shards, but just other characters that were actually relevant to the current meta. I think the Milestone 2 orb is actually pretty good as well. But I'm going to digress here, guys, because I feel like we could go off with a massively large tangent. The last thing I want to say, man, I'm thankful for here is the MSF community. I think you guys are amazing, and you guys are the reason why we continue to do this content, why we continue to make videos, or why we stay motivated to make videos. Obviously, we're going to make videos, right? Because it's kind of our job to make videos, right? That's what we do as content creators. But at the same time, the reason why we feel motivated to make these videos is the interaction that we're able to have with you guys, the input that we get from you guys. You guys really are kind of what makes it keeps us churning and keeps us going here. And I gotta say thanks to you guys, because you guys are amazing. The Twitch family, the YouTube family, you guys are all amazing. Those in the Discords. I know I'm gonna say Reddit, because there's some good people on Reddit too. It's not always complaining on Reddit. There's some good people that are on Reddit as well. So overall, the game requires and needs a community in order for the game to actually sustain. And we have a pretty damn good community here that's been intact So much love to you guys. Much appreciation to you guys as well. And happy Thanksgiving one more time. Want to know what you guys are most thankful for here in Marvel Strike Force this year. Curious to hear what you guys have to say in regards to that, where that is concerned. And of course, you know, say happy Thanksgiving to your loved ones. Don't forget about those who are probably maybe not as fortunate as you are. Reach out to those loved ones as well, guys, and show them some love. Because, hey, although this is a holiday season, not everybody always has a great time during the holiday season. So don't forget about those who may not be having such a great time. Reach out to them as well. But appreciate you guys watching the video. You guys are amazing, like I always say. And until next time, y'all be blessed and y'all be safe. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Happy Thanksgiving.